All right. Why I stopped writing a series? First off, I want to thank you for hitting the subscribe button. I want to thank you for watching other videos. I want to thank you for watching 30 seconds or more of the advertising here on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I need more questions, people. I need more things about writing. So why stop writing a series? Somebody gave this one to me. I have no idea who. So you're not going to get credit for giving me some suggestions, but you know who you are. I think that's good enough. Maybe one day I'll write down names of people who gave me this stuff. I don't know. That being said, coffee time. I'm leaving that in. All right. Why I stopped writing a series? Oh, that's an excellent question. Glad you asked. There are varying reasons that I will cover. Again, Armand's opinion. This is my opinion. This is not for everybody. Not all of these answers are going to make sense to everybody. Not all of these suggestions or opinions will make sense to everybody. I don't care. This made sense to me. Got something in my throat. Let's start with my Dying Days 9-book zombie series. Okay. So I was gonna write a zombie book, a novella. I did Highway to Hell. It was a little graphic. It had some crazy violence and sex in it. And then I wrote a short story flash fiction piece with a character, Darlene Bobbage. And I liked it. And it was a zombie part is about her having to basically kill her father, who had turned into a zombie. And I liked it. And then the wheel started spinning. I'm coming home. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm driving down to see my mom and dad at the time in Ormond Beach, Florida, near Daytona. And if you know Florida, A1A, Matanzas Inlet. Okay. Look up and see what Matanzas actually means. And it's gorgeous. It opens to the intercoastal on your right as you're heading south, the ocean to your left. And it is just gorgeous. And there's people on both sides under the bridge on the beaches, and there's 100 people on the bridge fishing and on and on. And I said to myself, what if a zombie came walking out of that surf? Every zombie book, every zombie movie, every zombie TV thing is we're in a city and everything is dark and it's you know end of the world, and it's just you set that gray tone mood, get a little bit of rain in there, giant skyscrapers blocking it in, on and on and on. What happens if I did is set it in Florida and it was really nice out? The sun doesn't stop shining because it's the zombie apocalypse, people. The beach is still going to be gorgeous, even if nobody alive can see it anymore. And so that kind of was the kickoff of that. And I wrote the one book and it did very well. Okay. This is back in like 2009 or something. Whenever. I can look it up, but I'm not going to. And I'm going to be honest with you. The first 5 or 6 covers, I had somebody do the covers. They were good for the time, but they really were. I'm just going to say it. The covers are cheesy. If you have the original copies, these covers are cheesy. And I'm not pulling them and showing you just to prove that point. Trust me on that. Cheesy. I think they're still on the Goodreads ones. They haven't let me change them for some reason. I think they want to torture me. So for me, I was like, all right, I'm just going to write a bunch of these books, because it took off. And now I'm into book 2, and I'm into book 3, and I'm into book 4, and I'm writing 2 or 3 of these a year. I love the characters. I love all of the everything that's going on. At one point, I had done a Kickstarter for one of the books, and a lot of people paid in to be a character. So I had several characters, extra characters now to write into these books. And two or three of them, they lasted, I think they lasted all the way to the end. And it got to about book 6, okay? I needed a new cover. I think it was 6. And I just said, I don't like the covers that came before. I wasn't working with that cover artist anymore. She was an author of like romance books and stuff. And she was showing me some ideas that were even cheesier than the previous 5 books. And I just said, I need something different. Then I had an idea. 2 ideas, actually. I said to myself, there's other authors out there that are writing zombie fiction now. And again, back in the day, it was the Wild Wild West. Not the song, just the Wild West. And there weren't a lot of zombie books on Amazon. You know what I mean? Wasn't a lot out there. When did I write that first book? So there wasn't a lot out there. And so I was getting really good sales. 2016. Why did I think 2009 was my first thing? Darling Bobbage Zombie Killer was actually the first thing I did. It was a novella. February 2012. And Dying Days was April 2011. So 2011. So 15 years ago, this came out. And there were other authors that were writing zombie stuff that were just, there was no end in sight. And I was writing other stuff too, so I wasn't just writing the Dying Day series. I think if I would just had done the One Trick Pony, I'm just going to be a zombie writer, it would have been easier to just write 1,000 books. I didn't want that. I was reading another author who was doing zombie stuff, and by like book 10 or 11, it just seemed like the same rehashed stuff over and over. I didn't want to do that. I want to get stuck. I didn't want to write a series that I wasn't comfortable with. And also, there were authors that at that point when I was getting into book 6, there were writers that had never finished a series. So I was reading not just zombies, any series. I was reading series, and then I would get to like book 12 or something, cliffhanger, and they had never written that next book. I didn't want to do that. So I said, I'm gonna do this. Hopefully, right. I'm gonna end the series. And I said, you know what? What if I did 9 books? This is what I did. I don't know if you can see this. I had these magnets made. If you want one, let me know and I'll mail you one. So that right there, that picture right there, Jack Wolin did. He just made that picture. And then what he did was he cut it up into 9 different books. So this first book is that top corner, book 1, then book 2, then book 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? And he cut that picture up into 9 covers for me. Let me put that back. And because I decided, you know what? I'm going to do 9 books. I think I have enough story. I think I have enough ideas for 1,000. But I want to do 9 books, and I want to end this series completely. Done. And also, it's great to be able to go, here's the 9th and final book in the series. Now, there are other offshoots and spinoffs. I'll do another video about spinoff series. Maybe that'll be my next video. Spinoff. Okay. That'll be my next video. So for me, it was, I know where I want this to end, and I know I can pick my brain for the best stories for books 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I think I did that. Okay. And it felt good because then sales-wise, once I hit that 9th and final book out, then the series took off again. I got a second wind on it. I started selling a lot of books. Great read-through. I haven't checked read-through in a couple of years. But I know at one point I had like 82% read-through from book 1 to book 9, which is phenomenal, if I do say so myself. So people are still reading it. 8 out of 10 people were going all the way to the end, all 9 books. And then I re-released it all together as a box set, all 9 books together. And again, huge sales. That's easily my biggest seller, even to this day. 15 years later, I'm still selling a ton of those books. Not a metric ton, but a lot of books. A lot of page reads. They're all in Kindle Unlimited, which is the best thing I ever did with that because that paid a lot of bills. So I decided, you know what, I want to do, if I'm going to do a series, I'm going to do a trilogy. Okay. That at that point I was like, I don't want to commit to 9 books every time. I don't want to commit to a ton of books. So I wrote Chelsea Avenue. I had written Green River Blend. I knew those were going to be, and those went with Devil Dog Press. They bought them, and I knew it was going to be a trilogy. I said, I have an idea, a vision for 3 books in this series. 3 done, 3 done. When I did Dirty Deeds, that took off, that first book, and I knew I'm just going to write a bunch of these until I get to that point, which is about book 6. And I said, I don't want to do 1,000 of these because the character is going to get stale. I'm not cutting that. And so I was like, you know what? I got to when I said 12 books. We do everything in 3s, divisions of 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12. I do 12 books on this. That's going to be the sweet spot. And I did 12 books. I knew the end of it. And those characters will show up in my other crime thriller stuff. It's all set in the same world. So I had a bunch of ideas for spin-offs for that, which I'll talk about in the next set of videos. But I knew I didn't want to do 100 Dirty Deeds. Now, there's an author out there. I'm not going to mention his name. I've never read his books. It's the same cover picture on all of his books. And I keep seeing him come up of book 98 of 101, book 99 of 103. And this guy's putting out a book like every 3 or 4 weeks or better. Like sometimes I'm like, I think he just released a book last week. He's got another one. So I'm not going to say this person is using AI. I'm not going to say this person is doing anything untoward. This person might sit down and write a book a week. It's possible. I've written a lot of words every week. I can't imagine steadily doing that and reading the plots, the description. I'm like, I think he did this already. I think he's done this already. It's just like, oh, he's fighting the oligarchs of Russia in this one. And then the next one is he's fighting the South Koreans in this one. Then he's fighting the North Koreans. Then he's fighting the Vietnamese. Then he's fighting. It's like every cliche bad guy, this person is fighting on the water. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. As a reader, if I see that the 101st book of a series came out, do I want to commit to that? Is that a commitment I want to make as a reader? Think to yourself, is that a commitment you want to make? If you go, oh, I could read these books and I could read one a month for the next 8, 9, 10 years and not read anything. No, you don't want to do that. It's kind of the old, in my mind, I think why I got into Marvel comics instead of DC comics. Because in the 70s and 80s, there were a lot of new comics coming out, okay? Whereas DC comics had Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and on and on and on. And they were all like issue 316. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go back and read. I'm a nerd. I'm a completist. I want to read the whole story. And I could pick up Alpha Flight number 1. Because it's the first one, and I can follow along for the next 12 months. I got 12 issues I can read and follow along to the beginning of the story. Okay, that's why I was never a really big Spider-Man fan, or Fantastic Four, or Captain America, or Thor back then. Okay, I've learned to love those comics, but I've also gotten to go back and read from the beginning on those, it probably still is a thing online where you can pay every month to read comic books, and it takes you from like Fantastic Four #1, So I'm just like burning through and reading all these comic books like a dork that I am. But I don't want to start a series, and I know I gotta catch up 40 years, of comic books. I don't want to read a series where I'm like, oh, good, now I got to read 100 more books of this. That's not fun. That's a time commitment I don't want to have because there's other books out there that I want to read. Now, you give me a good trilogy or even a 6-book series, I'm in. I'm in. I'll do it. That is a commitment I can make. But you can't give me book 23. I don't unless I've already started that series and I'm reading them here and there and I really like them. I don't want to make that commitment. And that's Armand's opinion. That's me personally. Do I want to do that? And I try to approach that as a writer as well. Like, do I want these readers to make this kind of commitment? I think I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, Maisie. Maisie's got a little bit. Like, what the hell's going on? So that's kind of the. I'm not cutting that. That's kind of the thing for me was. I want to stop a series. I want to figure it out, and I want to complete that series, but I don't want to just write an open-ended series. That being said, here's the caveat. I got a couple of books that I'm trying to get into publishers. I'm not doing the self-publishing thing. I did a video months ago about that. There are self-published books coming out. Obviously, still, I got a bunch of stuff in the funnel, but I'm not writing anything else that I'm going to release myself. Okay. That being said, if a publisher comes to me and says, we love this book, we want 2 more or 3 more or 10, we want this to be a series, I'll do it. I got no problem with that if I like the characters, and obviously if I'm writing these books, I like the characters. I remember at BoucherCon, Craig Johnson, who wrote the phenomenal Longmire series, still does, and he had that first book published, and the publisher said, "Okay, well, we want more books," and he said, "Well, this is the first book is a murder that happened in the smallest county in the least populated state in America. How many murders do you think there can possibly be?" And their answer was, "I don't know, you'll figure it out." And he did. He's got 20-something books, in that series. So, yeah, I'll do it as long as I'm getting paid, as long as I enjoy the characters, as long as as long as I'm still enjoying the writing aspect of it, as long as I'm still doing what I want to do. And one of the things I want to do, let's be honest, one of the things I want to do is make money. I don't want to go back to retail management. I don't want to go back to any job because this is my job. That's why you have to watch 30 seconds or more of the ad so I get paid and not have to go back to awful retail. I don't think I would survive in this climate. So I stop writing a series when I feel like I have nothing more to say in that series. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I could be on Dying Days 47 right now. I could be on Dirty Deeds, 38 right now. And I think the books will be good, but I don't think I would have my heart in it. And I think at some point the reader will understand, hey, this guy's not that I would ever phone it in, but that, hey, this guy's kind of running out of ideas and now we're just writing it to a paycheck. And I don't want to do that. I never, as much as I joke around about, yeah, I need money and blah, blah, blah. We all need money. I'm not going to write stuff because I'm chasing that. Or hell, I would be writing, I don't know, romance, romantasy, whatever the hell is hot right now. I would be writing. I would just be writing those books and probably making money a lot more than I'm making now. And I would not be happy. You would not be happy. And of course, you wouldn't even be my reader anyway. So I think that's what it is. you, as a writer, you have to know when the ideas are running out, and you always have to have that end game. You never want to have that open series. And again, my opinion, I never want to just start a series and go, I don't know how many books this is going to be. Like right now, I have on my board, I have two other series that someday I think I'll write. They're both 6-book series. Okay. And at some point, I'll write the first book in those and not do a cliffhanger, but leave it open that there are more stories there, and try to get an agent into a publisher. And if they like that story, maybe they'll go, hey, give me how many more you got on this one, kind of thing. Let's do a 3-book deal. Okay, after the 3-book deal, let's do more. That kind of thing. So I'm leaving them open ended if it comes to that. But all the stuff that I've done, I'm very happy right now as a writer that everything I have put out has ended. All right. Every story series I've written, there's an end to it. There's a third and final book, sixth and final book, ninth and final book, 12th and final book. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy that I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that if I croak tomorrow, or if Elon Musk says, "Hey, you're going to be in the first manned space mission to Mars tomorrow, so pack some cosmic brownies with you and some coffee," I'm like, I'm in. All right. Well, thankfully, all my series are done. He hasn't contacted me. I know there's going to be a couple of people like, oh, that's so awesome. When you leave tomorrow? No, I'm a writer. I lie. I mean, we tell stories, but really, we're just really, really good liars. Most of us, anyway. So there you go. That's why I stopped writing a series. And I'm definitely going to do another video with the other thing as well. Therefore, ergo, thank you for watching this. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching the 30 seconds or more of the advertising videos. Thank you for being a friend. Watch all my videos. I would appreciate it. Also, hang out with me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I do about an hour. I write live on YouTube. Most of it is just talking. So if you have any questions or anything, then throw them at me. If you have any other ideas for these videos, please comment. Send me an email, armandrosamilia@gmail.com. Armand Rosamilia all slurred together. There's no break there. And I would love to answer your questions, talk about stuff, and whatnot. So thank you very, very much.